and a tomato plant. Ashley Mazuri, KTN News.
Interesting story there on business, and indeed the business of coffee. Now, did you know that women comprise 48% of all businesses in this country? Now, women have so far received 8.6 billion shillings through the Women Enterprise Development Fund. The fund in this year's allocation received about 3 billion shillings. So far, the success rate of payments is at about 90%. We now speak to the chairperson of the fund, Mumina Bonaya, on the outlook for the fund and why this model has worked so far. Welcome, madam. First off, many people are familiar with the fund itself and the fact that there have been funds put aside for women in business to be able to either grow themselves, grow their businesses, a sort of affirmative action meant to grow the aspect of women in business. Maybe you can start by just telling us something about the fund to be able to demystify it. The challenge for most people being the fact that they do know about the fund but have no idea where to start.
Thank you, first of all, for having me here.
Yes.
Like you rightly mentioned,
yes,
Women Enterprise Fund is an affirmative fund.
Yes.
Under the Ministry of Public Service, Youth and Gender. It's an affirmative fund that targets women for many reasons.
Yes.
Most of the time, women are disadvantaged to access finance from other conventional institutions. And for us, we've been structured in such a way that women can easily reach us.
Yes.
We have officers in each and every constituency of this country, the 290 constituencies.
Where can they be found?
At the Social Development Office. And these are locals who can speak to women in their mother tongue, who can train them in their local language. So in terms of accessibility and reach, we're even more reachable and present than banks in this country, being in 290 constituencies. Basically, these funds targets, like we said, the women, most of them at the lower level of the pyramid. These are women who are culturally fixed. These are women who have low confidence. These are women who have no business skill or management skill when it comes to entrepreneurship. And we work with them to the point where now they can recognize there are other institutions like banks who can finance them. So before we get them to that level, you know what it means, a lot of work, a lot of capacity building, a lot of engagement, a lot of confidence growing for these women. So that is what we do most. Yeah,
so essentially what you're saying is that the fund is a catalyst, so to say, for enabling women be able to take the first step into creating a livelihood through business.
Exactly.
Yeah, so are there any examples out there that you can hold up to us and say that this is some of what we are doing and these are examples of places where we have been able to make a real difference?
From inception, we've been able to reach 1.2 million women who are in business. 150,000 of those businesses have survived beyond 3 years. That means there are more businesses which are successful that we are funding. Most of this money, women invest in agribusiness, where they've indirectly employed over 400,000 people along the value chain. So you can imagine the impact in terms of direct employment and indirect employment. And interestingly, the success of this story is basically by ordinary women. The fact that they've demonstrated they can be trusted with money, they are creditworthy. And as you mentioned, our repayment stands at 90%.
I want us to talk a bit more about that, because in there lies something that should be very interesting for most of Kenyans. The fact that for a lot of banks today, they're struggling with repayment. The fact that if you look at non-performing loans, other measures in financial institutions, really bad stories there. What is your organization doing differently that then enables you to gain the trust of these people and indeed school them in a way that they're actually repaying the money and, well, actually creating a sort of revolving fund, because the repayments can then be put into giving out to other women?
The success is because of the model we are using. We are financing women within their groups. Remember, we are not asking for any collateral. So our only security is the social protection within the group. Women guaranteeing each other, saying that I will stand in for so-and-so to repay. And that's social pressure. That's psychological pressure where you are required to repay is what is working for us instead of the tangible requirement for women to provide collateral, which they don't have anyway.
Yes.
So that is what has made it possible for us to achieve 90% repayment rate.
Talk to us, please, about technology. The fact that with mobile telephony, we are seeing the advent of certain other electronic initiatives that should then make your work easier. How have you been able to exploit this?
We have a system
Yes.
which is really effective in terms of reach out to all our officers in the 290 constituency. They are connected to our net here,
Yes.
where they can sit down with women wherever they are to fill in their loan application, which comes directly to us here for
Yes.
approval.
Yes.
We've made it easier for women to do repayment through M-Pesa. They don't have to walk to the bank.
Yes.
In many ways, we continue leveraging on technology so that our services can be efficient.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay. And if you think about it, the fact that some of these businesses have started small and they have grown, the fact that you have said you work hand in hand with them to a certain level, when they become financially viable enough to be able to approach larger institutions, then what? Are you able to sort of present credit history? Are you able to sort of hold their hand so that they can start to access bigger
Exactly.
things?
Currently, our cabinet secretary has initiated a discussion with the banks. There are women who've reached the highest level we can finance, and they've grown muscles.
Yes.
They want to move to the next level. We are in discussion with many financial institutions to see how we can exit them to the banks without really abandoning them after the long journey we've walked them. We are also looking at the option of SACCOs, women-owned SACCOs, for individual lending. We are most of the time challenged to see that women really lack the saving culture.
Yes.
You know, they overburden when it comes to responsibilities. And most of the time, from what they make in their businesses, they spend on school fees,
Yes.
health, everything. But we are telling them, within a group, if you can form circles where we can give you money for on lending to the members, then the individual loaning then can take place at that point. So for us, in terms of even marketing their products, linking them to big companies, having their products certified through Kenya Bureau of Standards, we're still working with them, even
Yes.
the ones who've reached the highest level of funding. Yeah.
Okay, let's talk about the other side of the coin, the fact that there is a survival rate. There are those that don't go beyond 3 years. There are those that don't go beyond 5 years. What sort of capacity building is the organization doing? Because I know you don't abandon them. You literally have to work with them to the beginning again and start off again. What does this mean for an organization such as this, the fact that there is a survival rate and that there are learnings to be made from the mistakes that these women make?
First of all, capacity is one area we are actually focusing more on. Remember, giving the finance, the capital is not enough.
Yes.
For their businesses to be successful, we must grow their capacity.
Yes.
What we focus more on is how they can manage their business well,
Yes.
the marketing, how they can do bookkeeping, how they can manage group dynamics,
Yes.
how they can manage human resource, how they can work together as a pool of entrepreneurs to cut on cost, especially in some areas where we've done mentorship.
Yes.
We realize that there are a group of women who are focusing on probably, let's say, they're all in the business of selling clothes. And we realize that separately, they are all incurring transport expense
Yes.
when they're going to,
source.
pick goods.
Yes.
So we train them, mentor them in such a way that they can have a pool transport when they're engaging in such kind of business, which are more or less similar.
Yes.
So such kind of skills is what we are trying to give
Yes.
them
Yes.
so that they can manage their businesses effectively and ensure that it's a success.
And my final question to you quickly, because we are almost out of time, is the fact that What does the future hold for this organization, especially in view of the fact that there have been suggestions to merge all these funds which deal with different aspects of society, be it the youth, be it the enterprise fund, that sort of thing? What does that mean for your organization and for the people who depend on it?
Merger is a discussion going on. It's not concluded yet. But the experience we've had from working with women, like I mentioned earlier, they've clearly demonstrated that they can be trusted with money.
Yes.
Their repayment is at 90%. I really doubt whether youth and others have shown that. Mixing the two, I don't know how it will fold out. So that is something else to consider.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, we remain to see what transpires. Thank you very much for taking the time to talk to us. That, of course, is Mumina Bonaya. She is the chairperson of